Got a new truck we're gonna unbox today. This is the Team Associated Rival. Thing's so big, if I sit down in my chair, you won't even be able to see me. Hello. I like big trucks though. There's nothing wrong with a good, nice monster truck. This is brand new from Team Associated. Brand new. I just got this in yesterday, finally. I've been waiting for one of these since they released this. See, I've had it on order now for about a month, waiting for this to come in. So I'm pretty excited about this one. This is a brand new truck. This is the Rival. It's part of their qualifier series from Team Associated, I believe. Yeah, it says so on the box. What this is though is basically a Monster GT 4.6 that has been revamped into electric. So this is an electric powered 8 scale 4-wheel drive monster truck from Team Associated. I'm pretty excited about this one. It's been a long time since I've had an 8 scale monster truck. I'm pretty excited about it. So figured it would be a good time to do an unboxing on this one today and show you this truck. So let's get this big box open and take a look at what we've got here. Now, I have looked a little bit at the specs of this thing. I haven't really paid much attention to it. I just knew that pretty much I wanted one, and I wanted to do a review on it. Slide this box off and see what we got in here. So this is what it looks like when you open up the box. Basically, you're gonna have your tires and everything in one of the boxes, and the other is gonna contain the radio and that equipment, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they've got this assembled. It's unlikely. We'll see though. See what this bad boy looks like. Okay, looks like we've got a couple of large zip ties holding this thing in. Set that aside. Get that thing out of the way. Okay. There it is, the Rival. Thing's huge. It's been a long time since I've had a Monster GT. I have had a Monster GT 4.6. I liked it a lot. I've worked on several of their 8.0s. I've also had the Team Losi Aftershock, a Savage, several of the big monster trucks. I'm a fan of this category of RC. Normally I've had nitro powered, but in this case I was really looking forward to getting something, well, maybe a little more eco-friendly. I don't know that, you know, I don't think a Savage really pollutes the planet all that much, but what I was looking forward to is getting some kind of an electric one that would be a little bit nicer for running around in my neighborhood, or something that maybe my neighbors aren't going to be complaining about it. You know what I mean? This is a lot quieter, a lot more neighborhood friendly. So here's what we got underneath. Pretty awesome. This is going to be a nice truck. All right, I like the body too. That's a killer paint scheme. Thing looks great. Awesome. either my eyes are deceiving me, or this thing is a little bit longer than the traditional Monster GT 4.6. It just seems like it's longer, bigger. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really looked at the specs, but I'm assuming it's a little bit longer too. So there's our truck. We've got our batteries in here. I'm going to put that aside for just a second. Before we zoom in up close, I want to open these up and get the tires out and take a look at what else is in this thing. We do have, I see, two 8.4 volt 7-cell nickel metal batteries. Looks like we've got our tires. I'm going to say it's roughly 7 inches. Not a bad tire. This is a little different tread design than the nitro-powered trucks. This is similar to the Thunder Tiger tires. Obviously, Team Associated is owned by them, so that naturally there's going to be some things that are shared. But they look like they're pretty decent. Tread compound feels like it's going to hold up well. Let's take a look at the radio system. 2.4 naturally, and this is the XP3G radio. Let's get that box out of the way. XP3G, I'm assuming third channel. Yep, it's got an auxiliary button for the thumb here. We'll get up on, we'll zoom in on that too. So don't worry. We'll take an up close look at that. I just want to get everything out of the box and see what this thing comes with. Okay, we got a basic toolkit. With the wheel nuts, a wheel wrench. Incidentally, this has 17 millimeter hubs, unlike the Monster GT 4.6, which I believe is running a 14 millimeter hub. This one, they have gone to more of an industry standard now with the 17 millimeter hex. So a little bit more beef in here at the wheel hub, which is good probably for that electric. Not as big as the Monster GT 8.0. Those wheel hubs, I think, are 23. They're big. I don't know exactly what they are. So we got a pretty typical cross wrench. They've also included some additional wrenches and things for the electric here. Wheel wrench and the 4-star. This one here. This open, take a look at what's in here. So this has several wrenches. Foam battery blocks for spacing down from the long stick pack to the LiPo batteries. Typical Allen wrenches and our wheel nuts. So basic package there. I'm going to get those out of the way. That's not really all that exciting. Tires, more of those, and we've got our instruction manual, owner's manual here. So what let's do is cut here, get up close. We'll zoom in on this thing and take a close look at it. Here we are up close. During that time, I put the tires on just to get a better feel for the size of this truck. It is a massive machine. This thing is a big truck. I like it. I think it's pretty neat. Neat looking body. Tires and wheels look good. 17 millimeter hex, as I said before. Let's pull the body off here and take a look underneath. The battery tray, very easy access. Easy to change the battery types. Of course, it comes with 2 batteries already installed. And being open like this, it's easy to change these out. You simply change this little lever right here and pop this tray up. That folds up and allows you to get these batteries out of there. This truck does come with a pair of the 3000 milliamp 8.4 volt 7-cell Dean's plug battery packs. That's included. No charger in the box though, as we saw when we took it apart. But that's going to allow installation of various different LiPo batteries into this truck, spacing them with the battery foam pads that are included. I'm seeing it's going to be easy to put LiPo batteries that are hardwired with the wires coming out right here. Very easy to install those. Also the post style batteries, which I will be using, is going to allow the wires to stick straight up, plenty of clearance, easy to get access to. I like that. That's nice. I like the Emax as well, and I think that's kind of what they patterned this after with this open layout like this. You can see it's very open, easy to get access to everything. Steering servo, the sealed receiver box, and everything in there, this whole electronics tray, easy to get the transmission out, all that stuff. So very nice setup. I will say this style of battery tray I like a lot better than the Revo, which has the side compartments, and as well as the Savage, which runs the Savage Flux, that has those battery compartments that fold up against the side of the chassis with the twin vertical plates. This is much easier. It's going to allow me to use my post style LiPos. I like that. So let's move on to the electronics here. Speed control, in-house, team associated. It's the XP, whoops, moved the camera there. This thing's so big. It's the XP 1500, I'm sorry, XP series SC 1300. 8 scale system. I believe that's installed in a couple of their 8 scale ready to runs. And then we've got the 2000 kV motor in this as well. So pretty nice setup. I will say, I was looking through the specs before I zoomed in here just to make sure that I was talking intelligently about this. They are limited to 2 7-cell nickel metal or 2 2-cell lithium polymer batteries. So 2 2-cell LiPo, obviously in series. You've got a dual plug here. You plug each battery in. It's going to be limited to a 4-cell, basically a 4-cell LiPo setup, no 6-cell. Probably just the speed control can't handle it. I'm thinking the drivetrain is going to be able to handle it because the internals of this transmission are all steel gears. Of course, you've got a sealed slipper clutch area here, and you've got steel gears inside. The spur gear also is steel in this case. So very, very robust. I'm thinking that the transmission ought to hold up well. Looking at the center here, we got a nice grab handle. It's kind of a roll bar. It's very thick, kind of a piano wire, I guess, just solid steel roll handle. It's going to allow you to pick this up, move it around. It's a pretty heavy truck. I mean, that's nice. They give you some place to grab when you got the body off and you're putting this thing away. So chassis on this rig. This is a aluminum block. I mean, this thing is just beefy. That chassis is pretty tough. I don't anticipate having a lot of problems with the chassis. It's aluminum front to back, as you can see. Very similar. The Monster GT line has been that way. The 4.6 SE as well as the 8.0. This chassis is different. They've machined this out and drilled this out differently than the Nitro. It's not just converted to accept the transmission and the battery packs and things like that. It is a unique chassis to this truck, but very similar, very strong. Also, look at I like this for the upper arm mounts. If I can spin this thing around to show you this. The upper arm mounts, I don't know if you can see it or not, they are a blue anodized aluminum suspension block mount, and that's going to add to the strength as well of this vehicle. So that is nice. The undercarriage, you've got full metal skid plates front and back. This one protecting the servo, not a servo saver, but the steering rack up in there. It's going to protect that from impact damage. And then you've got one at the back here as well. Very robust bumpers, very tough, which ties into the bottom up to that skid plate. It's going to protect this vehicle from any kind of impact damage. They look pretty tough too. I remember my MGT seemed like it was pretty strong. So shared componentry on this vehicle. If you're used to a Monster GT, you're going to be pleasantly surprised by this one. You're going to be sharing the same suspension system. You've got the dual shock set up. These happen to be very, very smooth out of the box. I don't indicate that they feel like they're full of oil. There's no air, anything in them. They feel very smooth. Good suspension, very soft. It's going to absorb the jumps and bumps and things that this is going to be running over. So pretty nice. These shocks aren't bad. You've got the kind of a piggyback reservoir. I don't know if you're familiar with the Monster GT series or not. They do have a fake piggyback shock on there. You know, some like that, some don't. It's not a huge deal. I mean, if you're skilled with a Dremel tool, just slice this thing off at the cap and then turn the shock around and you'd never even know they were there, really. So I've done that before. Team Associated also offers different aluminum shock caps for this as well that would help dress it up a little bit, more blue anodizing, but they are stronger and they don't have the fake reservoir. So you can always upgrade that way too. Again, suspension arms, very typical Team Associated. Same as the Monster GT 4.6, the steering knuckle, the arms. This is going to allow you to upgrade the arms to RPM. If you're so inclined, also you can put some aluminum ones on there if you want. And then the steering knuckles as well, you can change those to aluminum. So that's going to help beef that up. If you're really going to be abusive to this thing, you may end up having to look at that. I know when I had my Monster GT years ago, I did break a steering knuckle. And I did upgrade the fronts to aluminum at that time. And it's not terribly costly to do that. Something else I want to show you, the size of these turnbuckles. Very, very, very beefy. Looks very good. This is on the rear, of course. These set the toe of this wheel. From the factory, they look to me like they're about maybe a degree and a half towed in towards the front here. We've also got a little bit of negative camber on this set up from the factory, some a little more than others. It's not perfectly adjusted, but it's pretty easy to adjust that. Now that it's set up, I can change my camber angles and get this exactly how I want it. The rear looks great. I've got one front tire right here that I don't know if you can see it or not. It seems to be maybe tipped in just a little bit more negative camber on that side. Front suspension, also the steering tie rods here. Again, very heavy duty pieces. They, you know, and I'm going from memory here. I really remember my Monster GT 4.6 being smaller diameter here at these tie rods. I really think they've improved that, obviously probably from the MGT 8.0 as well, but they look like, I don't think we're really going to bend those. Those are thick, beefy. Suspension feels really good. I like this rig, I do. I like it. I like it a lot. Physically, it's just awesome. You know, very impressive, the size on this thing. I'm liking that quite a bit. Something else on these MGTs, well, on this Rival, very similar to the others. I know you can't see it inside of here. You have universal drive shafts center as well as front and rear. Let me get this up so you can see that. You've got a universal drive shaft. These are heavy duty CVA style drive shaft dog bone assembly. Very, very nice. I like that. They're a little smoother than your typical dog bone with a, kind of a ball and cup design. With this being a CVA at the wheel, it's going to help with smoother steering and that sort of thing. Plus less wear at the diff output cup than you get with the dog bones. Dog bones tend to wear, when you have a dog bone type drive shaft where you've got a ball and a cup like this has at the diff, see, that's normal. I don't know if you can see that or not up in there. That's traditional, but you'll have that at each end, you know what I'm talking about? Savage is an example, HPI Blitz, all the ready-to-run stuff, SC10, T4, Blitz, what else? That's all I can think of off the top of my head. They have a dog bone drive shaft set up, and what'll happen over time, and it doesn't take very long, you start wearing a notch into the diff cup. And you don't get that with the CVD or CVA style drive shafts. They wear the diff cups more evenly, so your diff outdrives last a lot longer. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Oh, something else I was noticing. This completely took me by surprise. I'm going to hold the rear wheels and notice there is no, I'm getting some pressure on the rear wheels, but you can twist the rear separately. It has a center differential, which is installed from a factory. That was kind of a surprise. I didn't anticipate that. It has a center differential in here. It's going to split the power between the front and rear wheel sets. Benefit of that, better handling. I think you're going to see, particularly on like maybe a track or off-road handling, this is going to be, I think, a better handler than obviously the Savage Flux or, you know, we'll have to see. I'm going to drive it and we'll see. I've driven the other ones, but I anticipate just from the center diff, I mean, that's like a truggy, you know. That's what truggies have, and they are superior track machines than the traditional monster trucks. So that was kind of an interesting inclusion on this thing. Let's talk about the radio. This is the radio they include. And this is kind of funky. You've got a bunch of different dials and things on the back. You'll notice your throttle trim, steering trim, pretty standard stuff. Also EPA, ATVs, I'm sorry. Throttle and brake ATV trims there on the side. Again, pretty standard stuff, but I like this layout. It's easy to deal with. The knobs are nice and large. Easy to grab, easy to adjust these knobs and adjust them where you want. Your steering dual rate over here, on and off slider. Your reverse trims up top, no antenna to break off, just kind of a shark's fin. The overall quality feel of this too, it does feel a little more quality than the typical ready-to-run radio as well. So I kind of like that. I was surprised by how this felt. The steering, the quality maybe of the plastics, the feel of the plastic. It doesn't feel as cheap as a lot of the ready-to-run radios that are out there. So I like that. You guys have watched the truck commercials, right? Like Chevy trucks and Dodge trucks, where they're like big, easy to control. You know, you can wear your work gloves and still. I don't recommend that. You won't be able to feel the trigger. But you could. These are easy to operate. They feel at least somewhat quality. You know, not real bad. The throttle trim feels like it's got a little catch there in the dead center to help keep that centered. You know, just not too bad overall. I like that. It is a 3-channel. You've got an auxiliary switch right here by your thumb. That doesn't operate anything on this particular truck, but this is the radio that I think their newest Monster GTs and some of that are coming with, and you would use that for reverse on that truck. This one, however, again, you know, you're not going to use that 3rd channel, but that's pretty nice. I don't know what the range is. I haven't used one. This is their XP3G, Team Associated. Very similar to some of the, it's a Thunder Tiger radio. Not bad. I noticed this too. This is kind of interesting. 6 batteries, not 4. I was expecting 4. So that's different. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know if that's going to improve the signal strength or the range, or maybe just this radio requires a little more voltage to operate. Obviously, it must. I don't know what the benefit would be. Usually, I'm used to 8 or 4 AA's, so 6 was kind of a surprise. I had to kind of, wait a minute, I had to count that twice, you know. There's 6, so it's kind of different. All right, well, that's our Monster GT, Rival, Team Associated Rival. All right, we'll wrap up our review here of the Rival. This is not the Rival, this is Savage. I told you I wanted to compare the size difference because I really thought that was a lot bigger. And this is a Savage, Savage X 4.6 I just pulled out of the box. Just to throw this on the bench here and take a look at the difference in size. This is a well-known truck, obviously Savage Flux. This is a good representation of the Flux. But look at the difference in this thing. That is huge. That's a giant monster truck. Savage is big, but this thing is bigger. What a massive, massive machine. Scoot this back, see if you can see them side by side, just for fun. Wow. Pretty awesome. Oops. Pretty cool. I can't wait to get this thing out and try it out. Positives, again, the chassis, that full metal chassis set. The universal shafts, I like that, front and rear instead of the dog bones on the Savage Flux. Maybe the downside of this truck for some would be the fact that with the center differential, it's probably not going to be a wheelie machine that like a Savage Flux would be. The other thing is the speed control being limited to a 4-cell max or 2-cell is going to be a little bit of a negative on that mark. But if you compare the pricing, you got to realize that what its competition, the Savage Flux is about just over $600 roughly street price. The E-Max brushless, those are with a LiPo battery. I think they're pushing 700, something like that. The Revo brushless with the LiPo battery. Now keep in mind, they don't give you I'm talking about Traxxas, they don't give you 2 batteries. They just give you one 3-cell. So having one 3-cell in the package puts that truck at about $1,000. They're like $959 for a Revo brushless with the LiPo battery and charger that's included. You can save a little bit if you get one. I think they still offer it with the nickel metal, but you're still in the 800s. Price for this, as it came out of the box with the 2 batteries, no charger, radio, ready to run, $549 is what these are going for. So bargain price really for an outstanding package, even barring a couple of maybe some minor issues, not being able to run a 3-cell or 6-cell, because it's not a Castle system. They were able to shave a little bit more of the price. In my opinion, with just looking at the thing, I think it's a great value for money. But we're gonna go abuse this thing and put it on the track, see how it handles with the center diff. We're gonna take it and rip it around the dirt lot. We'll do some speed runs with it, see how fast it is, and give you our final opinion. So until next time, guys, take it easy, have fun.